Welcome to Vanished Mysteries, where every story uncovers truth, hope, and unanswered questions from real-life disappearances around the world. We believe every mystery deserves a voice, and every missing person deserves to be found. If you agree, make sure you subscribe, and let's begin tonight's story. In the quiet, unassuming town of Panvel, nestled on the outskirts of Mumbai, stood a community shelter known as Swapnalay. In Marathi, the name translates to dream home. For the young girls who lived there, it was meant to be exactly that, a safe space, a stepping stone toward a brighter future. But on one ordinary night, the dream turned into a nightmare. When the staff woke the next morning to the familiar sounds of a new day, an unsettling silence hung in the air. 5 girls were gone. Their beds were untouched, as if they had never been slept in. A window grill in their dormitory had been quietly, almost surgically, removed. And perhaps most chillingly, the shelter's CCTV cameras, the silent guardians of their safety, had all stopped recording at the exact same hour. The digital eyes that were supposed to watch over them had gone blind at the most critical moment. The morning calm was shattered as the shelter staff, in a state of rising panic, dialed the police. Officers arrived immediately, their presence a stark contrast to the tranquil surroundings. They began a meticulous search, combing every corner of the shelter and the dusty streets nearby, desperate for any clue, any sign of what had happened. A few faint footprints were discovered near the compound's boundary wall, pointing toward the main road, a potential path to freedom or to danger. But then, just as suddenly as they appeared, the tracks simply vanished into the chaos of the roadside. They led nowhere. As investigators spoke to local residents, a fragmented picture began to emerge. A few people recalled seeing a nondescript white vehicle parked near the shelter late that night, its engine humming in the darkness. But the details were hazy, the memories clouded by sleep and the late hour. Was it a coincidence or a piece of the puzzle? As news of the 5 missing girls broke, a wave of shock and disbelief washed over the community. How could this happen here? In a place designed to be a sanctuary, a fortress of protection for vulnerable children? The question echoed in the streets, in the local tea stalls, and in the hearts of every parent. Within hours, the story of the Panvel mystery was no longer a local tragedy. It had ignited a national conversation, spreading like wildfire across India. Social media platforms like Twitter and Facebook were flooded with messages of concern, prayers for the girls' safe return, and a growing sense of anger at the system that had failed them. The hashtag Find the Panvel girls started trending, amplified by influential voices. Celebrities like Sonu Sood, Ravina Tandon, and Dia Mirza used their platforms to demand immediate action from the authorities. They didn't just share a post, they called for systemic change, urging for improved safety protocols and better oversight for all children and youth shelters across the country. Major national news outlets like NDTV, India Today, and Times Now picked up the story, providing continuous, round-the-clock coverage. The nation was captivated. Every press conference, every small update, was followed by millions of anxious viewers. But despite the intense media scrutiny and the public outcry, concrete answers remained frustratingly out of reach. The girls were still missing, and the silence from their absence was deafening. Desperate for breakthrough, authorities meticulously reviewed the shelter as surveillance footage from the hours leading up to the moment the cameras went dark. The grainy images showed nothing out of the ordinary until just before the blackout. In the final few frames, faint, shadowy figures could be seen moving near the hallway of the girls' dormitory. Were these the girls themselves, or someone else? The footage cut out before it could provide any answers, leaving investigators with more questions than before. Theories began to swirl. Some believed the girls might have left willingly, tired of the shelter's rules and seeking a life of their own. The removed window grill could have been their own doing, a pre-planned escape route to an imagined freedom, but others suspected a more sinister explanation. Could they have been lured away by someone they knew and trusted? Someone who knew the shelter's layout, its security weaknesses, and the precise moment the cameras would fail. Investigators delved into the lives of the shelter's staff and residents, questioning everyone, searching for any inconsistency, any hidden relationship or secret that could help them piece together the missing timeline. But every small clue they uncovered only seemed to lead to another dead end, another unanswered question in this sprawling, frustrating mystery. While investigators worked behind closed doors, a heart-wrenching scene unfolded outside the shelter's gates. The families of the missing girls gathered, their faces etched with a mixture of fear, hope, and agonizing uncertainty. They waited for any news, any whisper of information that might bring their daughters home. Mothers clutched worn photographs of their smiling girls, their lips moving in silent, desperate prayers. One parent, speaking through a torrent of tears, told a reporter, "She promised me she'd come home soon. She had so many dreams. And now, I don't even know where she is. Is she safe? Is she scared?" The community rallied around them. Candlelight vigils were held, their small flames a symbol of hope against the encroaching darkness. Posters with the girls' faces were plastered across bus stops and train stations throughout Maharashtra, their innocent eyes pleading for help from every passerby. People from all walks of life, strangers united by a common sense of humanity, joined the search efforts. But with every hour that passed, the weight of their absence grew heavier, the hope more fragile. As days bled into weeks, the police intensified their efforts, forming multiple specialized search teams to handle the immense task. They expanded their investigation beyond Panvel, tracing potential leads to nearby cities and major transport hubs like bus and railway stations. Was it possible the girls had been taken far away? Some media outlets began to speculate about a larger, more terrifying possibility, suggesting that similar incidents in other regions might be connected, part of a wider, organized network. But without concrete evidence, these remained just theories, fueling public fear, but bringing the families no closer to the truth. In the wake of the incident, concerned volunteers and NGOs began visiting other shelters, auditing their security, and working to ensure that a tragedy like this would never happen again. The Panvel case became a catalyst, a painful reminder of the need for vigilance in protecting every child in care. Months have passed now since that fateful night. The national media has moved on to new headlines, and the public outcry has faded to a murmur. But for the families of the 5 missing girls, time has stood still. The girls from Swapnalay remain missing. Their names are still whispered in the town of Panvel. Their faces still stare out from faded posters. Their families hold on to a thread of faith, hoping against hope that one day, a phone call, a message, or a simple sign will finally lead them back home. Mysteries like these remind us how fragile our sense of safety can be, and how the deepest human strength often lies in the simple, unwavering act of never giving up hope. This is Vanished Mysteries. If this story moved you, please share it. Awareness can bring light where silence still lives, and every share could be the one that reaches the right person. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to subscribe for more true stories that deserve to be heard.